I'm writing a book right now called Into the Abstract. And there's this one section where I'm talking about storm walking. It's been on my mind a lot lately. And I was working with a psychologist, and I got to see this psychologist in a traumatic situation. And I watched this highly intelligent, highly educated psychologist turn into a second ethical perspective before my eyes. That's a lot of data for me. I sat there and I watched this person and I went, oh my God, he's book learned. You can't be book smart and be a storm walker. You need both. But you don't learn storm walking from a book. Oh, you can't learn storm walking from a book. So, storm walking, the best way I can explain storm walking is the movie After Earth, Will Smith. Will Smith in that movie was a storm walker. It was the part where he walked through the war without any fear. That's a storm walker. That's a storm walker. You don't do that shit by reading a book. What you're talking about is using logic in the face of fear, right in the middle of trauma, to override your amygdala and dominate your amygdala to say, yeah, I'm in charge. And then you do it. You walk through the storm, you walk through the war without fear. You can't do that without being in the storm. Books are not the storm. You read a book when you're in a cozy place, when you're in a library or a classroom. You read a book when you're in your bed. That is not storm walking. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to teach psychologists psychology. And I finally figured it out. If you want to learn psychology, you need to become a Marine. You need to become a Navy SEAL. You need to go through fear training. Fear training. That's a storm walker. So I'm looking at the psychology of fear training. And this right here is why psychology doesn't work. It's because they didn't learn fear training. Now, one of the things that they did study, that I studied, that I used was torture psychology. I had to go through torture psychology because I had to use it on myself, as in I was enduring torture and I had to use torture psychology to protect my mind. I then, under a number of traumatic situations, had to take what I had learned with torture psychology and apply it to my real life. And then I had to separate it. So, what's going on in fear training, storm walking, and torture psychology is your self-preservation system has one job: to submit to the greater force. That's all it is. It's a battle of force. That's what this whole thing revolves around. It submits to the greater force. And your subconscious mind partners up with an identity and a conscious awareness. Now, the identity is the damsel in distress. The identity is the damsel. This is the whole purpose of all of this. She is the Princess Peach in the tower. This is what we're doing the mission for, identity. She is Princess Peach. Now, conscious awareness has one job. And if conscious awareness does not learn this one job, the whole system is messed up. We have a problem. This is what this is all about. Conscious awareness's one job is to be the greater force. That's it. That is it. All conscious awareness has to do is be the greatest force. Interesting, isn't it? Now, if the conscious awareness fails at this, the subconscious mind, the self-preservation system, betrays the conscious awareness and blames conscious awareness. This is the thing that actually takes place in every subconscious mind. A great force comes along, and subconscious mind is going to go with the greatest force. And it's a face-off between conscious awareness and the outside force. Subconscious mind, self-preservation system, is going to go to the greater of the two. Your job, conscious awareness, is to be the greatest force. But if you're not, the subconscious mind will betray the identity, Princess Peach, and conscious awareness and fall to the greatest force, the abuser. Now, subconscious mind will then hold it as a grudge against the conscious awareness and say, you had one job. You had one job to be the greatest force. So the self-preservational system will actually take that as an offense and be angry with the self and then betray the conscious awareness and be angry with the conscious awareness for not being the greatest force. You let me down. In the meantime, conscious awareness will subconsciously know that it let it down, and it will feel that guilt and it will hate itself. So then conscious awareness, because it wasn't the greatest force, let down its own self. And as a result, Princess Peach in the tower never made it out alive. So now conscious awareness, self-preservation system, and conscious awareness have to make up. This is psychology. This is what we're doing here. This is all we do. You've got to make up. You've got to sit down and have that talk with your subconscious mind. Hey, remember that time when asshole came along and I wasn't the greatest force and you betrayed me and you went over there because I didn't do my job and Princess Peach got lost? Yeah, I remember that time. My daughter's laughing. This is a great conversation, right? It's like the best analogy ever. The subconscious mind self-preservation system goes, yeah, I remember. You fucked us all up because of that. You had one job. The conscious awareness says, yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up. And the conscious awareness now has to make amends with the subconscious mind's self-preservation system. And they have to say, okay, we're not going to do that again. And they have to become a team to save Princess Peach in the tower. That's it. That's all of psychology right there in a nutshell. Now you have one job, to never again not be the greatest force. You one job. You've got to be the greatest force. So it's conscious awareness's job to be the greatest force. Now we're going to get into storm walking. Now that's where fear training comes in. That's where psychological torture comes in. Yeah. Because when you study psychological torture, fear training, and storm walking, huh, conscious awareness becomes the greatest force. So that no matter what comes at you, subconscious mind stands there, conscious awareness stands there and says, yeah, bring it. And it doesn't budge. It doesn't move because it's storm walking. Yeah, you don't learn that in a book because you don't learn fear training, psychological torture, and storm walking from a book. Ask a Marine, ask a Navy SEAL, ask them how they train. They don't read a book. Just saying.